And even lifelong New Yorkers don't know its biggest secret, that it is cared for by the Central Park Conservancy, its members, and volunteers. Learn more at centralparknyc.org.
Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and then in 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, it's the BBC NewsHour on WNYC. Let's check in with London and see what they're working on. Hello, London.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm Rebecca Kesby, and on today's NewsHour, protesters clash with riot police in Georgia as a proposed new bill polarizes opinion, pro-EU or pro-Russian. Could this have far wider consequences? Also, the latest from the US campus demonstrations and how an ugly Indian stork became a local icon. That's BBC NewsHour coming up at 9 on WNYC.
58 with still some clouds out there, but I see much brighter skies and even some sunshine now. On our way to a partly sunny Wednesday with a high in the mid-70s, even warmer tomorrow up to the mid-80s with clouds giving way to sunshine. 58 with some sunshine out and some clouds. It is 8:52.
Does the federal government have the power to lower the price of popular but expensive weight loss medicines?
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Rubrik. When cyber attacks put businesses at risk, Rubrik provides the power to bounce back fast. More at Rubrik.com. And by C3 Generative AI. Verified, traceable answers, secure, hallucination-free, LLM-agnostic, IP liability-free. Learn more at c3.ai.
I'm David Brancaccio. The Federal Trade Commission is challenging patents on 20 brand-name drugs. This includes Ozempic. That's the diabetes medication that's become a blockbuster success, helping people lose weight. The attempt here is to speed the process toward cheaper generics. Here's Marketplace's Nova Safo.
Critics have accused drug manufacturers of filing dozens, if not hundreds, of patents for individual treatments in order to ward off cheaper generic versions. In its latest battle with the industry, the FTC sent warnings to 10 drug makers, including AstraZeneca, GlaxoSmithKline, and Novo Nordisk, challenging patents on drugs treating weight loss, diabetes, asthma, and other conditions. These drugs are enormously profitable. For example, Novo Nordisk saw sales skyrocket last year to $34 billion, mostly thanks to two drugs, Ozempic and Wegovy, both affect weight loss. The original Ozempic patent could expire by 2032 if the FTC succeeds in its challenge. That would allow generic versions. Novo Nordisk did not comment. This is the second time the Biden administration's FTC has challenged drug patents, the first in September, which led to 3 companies withdrawing listings. Others did not, and the FTC has not said whether it will take further legal action. I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
In about 5 hours, the Federal Reserve Chief will do his interest rate and economic briefing. No one's thinking his team will lower rates yet, but market interest rates may rise on their own, depending on how resolute the briefing is about keeping rates higher for longer to fight inflation. Today, the ADP payroll company reported 192,000 more people were hired on in April, stronger than expected, but less than in March. Ever give up on a Starbucks run because of the line or the wait time on the app? The company says that's just one factor hurting sales, as is inflation weighing on consumers. The company's quarterly profits were well below expectations, foot traffic down 7%. Starbucks stock is down nearly 14% in pre-market trading now. The new lavender lattes are doing well, rivaling the popularity of pumpkin spice in the fall. So there's that.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Rubrik. When cyber attacks put businesses at risk, Rubrik provides the power to bounce back fast. More at Rubrik.com. And by C3 Generative AI. Verified, traceable answers, secure, hallucination-free, LLM-agnostic, IP liability-free. Learn more at c3.ai.
Today, May 1st, is a big day for soon-to-be college students to pick where they want to be in the fall. A lot rides on this decision. Academic and social opportunities, what it'll cost, and for some, programs of study that are inclusive. New law in Alabama that restricts diversity, equity, and inclusion curricula was signed by Governor Kay Ivey in March. SB 129 will prohibit publicly funded institutions from endorsing or requiring DEI programs. It's part of a broader national trend. Now, the mayor of Birmingham has called on black athletes to boycott playing sports at Alabama colleges and universities in a push to repeal the law. Marketplace's special correspondent Lee Hawkins filed this report.
Tuscaloosa is home to the University of Alabama's Crimson Tide football team. It's won 18 national championships and brings in around $200 million annually to its home city. That's just the kind of economic pressure Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin hopes to put on the governor's seat. Mayor Woodfin is asking parents of black and minority athletes to avoid playing for institutions in Alabama and other states promoting anti-DEI legislation. He's also calling for more vocal opposition from Alabama students and university officials.
Don't tell me as a coach, recruiter, you come in my living room, you come on my front porch, and you want my black son to play on your football field or on your basketball court, but you don't want diversity of thought and professors or programs to support my child outside of that football field or outside of the basketball court. So why should they come?
Alabama Governor Kay Ivey said in a written statement that she wants to prevent taxpayer funds from being used to push, quote, a liberal political movement counter to what the majority of Alabamians believe. Critics argue that such legislation undermines academic freedom and the comprehensive understanding of history, while Ivey and other proponents claim it's a return to essential academic values that can stamp out rising ideological division. The University of Alabama has a long tradition of generating revenue based on the labor and talents of black Americans. Even before its official founding, the university began enslaving black people, buying its first slave, a black man named Ben, in 1828. The school used Ben and many others as free labor to construct buildings and support its day-to-day operations. It rented people from local enslavers who served the university for decades. After emancipation, the state of Alabama continued to forbid blacks from attending University of Alabama and other institutions for another century under Jim Crow segregation laws.
Legislators, they have to reckon with themselves of the unintended consequences of creating this stupid law that infringes upon not just black people, but every other group you can think of, women, our immigrant community, those who are handicapped or deaf or other forms of hearing impairment or blind, or insert whatever disability that exists, or veterans. DEI is not just in support of black people. When we talk about diversity, when we talk about equity, and when we talk about inclusion, we're talking about every minority group.
The law goes into effect in October. I'm Lee Hawkins for Marketplace.
Lee has a forthcoming book, Nobody's Slave, How Uncovering My Family's History Set Me Free. The book will follow his podcast series, What Happened in Alabama, which explores the impact of racial violence on his own family. Marketplace.org has more information. I'm David Brancaccio with our morning report. From APM, American Public Media.